Big thanks to Respawn, EA, and the Creator Network for inviting me to check out Apex Legends Season 22 a little bit early. The latest season of Apex is nearly upon us, and we have an insane amount of new things to discuss, from a brand new map, massive new battle sense mechanics, looting systems, akimbo weapons, aim assist nerfs, and a lot more. This upcoming season contains the largest release of new content that we have seen in the past 2+ years of Apex Legends, and it starts with some massive game changes, or what Respawn is calling them, battle sense mechanics. Respawn has really been trying to emphasize helping the newer or less skilled players. Health bars will now be on enemies when you are shooting at them, and this is only going to be for yourself, not for the whole team. Each person gets their own individual health bars when you are hitting enemies, but this is going to let you get the status of enemies and know if they are actually one shot. It's going to take a little bit of the guesswork out when you are in fights. Enemies are also now going to be highlighted when they are in the very close range, but when they are not in smoke or other concealment abilities, and it's going to allow you to see enemies slightly easier. Another thing that is changing is that aim flinched is actually being removed from weapons in most other Legends abilities. Ring damage will still give you flinch, but if you are in a one-on-one gunfight and you're getting hit by abilities and weapons and you're taking health damage, you will no longer have aim flinch. Another big change that is happening with the overall game is that aim assist for controllers on PC and those who are playing crossplay with PC players on controllers, say if you're on Xbox playing with a PC player, your aim assist is going to be reduced by 25% for those PC players. It's going to be going from 0.4 all the way down to 0.3. Note that if you are on console and you're only playing against other console players, you're still going to have the same aim assist. It's not going to feel any different. Trios in Apex Legends really has not changed in the 5+ years of Apex Legends run, but that changes in Season 22. There is a new respawning or revival mechanic to make it easier to come back into your matches. It's going to help you stay in the match longer, and this is Trios Revival. This is going to be the mode that replaces all pub trios for at least the duration of the season, and most likely going forward in Season 23 and beyond. This shakes up the core combat mechanics of Apex Legends. When you die, a respawn timer will start to kick in, and a respawn will happen when that timer does hit 0. If you've played Warzone Resurgence or Fortnite's newest mode, this will seem pretty familiar. Getting damage and getting knocks on enemies will bring your squad back faster, and the revival does shut off during the end game ranks. Respawn again just stated that they wanted to make Apex Legends, at least the pub mode, more approachable and kind of bridge that gap between new players, less experienced players, and those of us who have been playing the game for a long time. At the moment, this will not be coming to ranked Apex Legends. Looting Apex Legends is getting a slight tweak as well and a little bit of a buff. In the mid game, all open loot bins are going to be resetting. All bins are going to get re-rolled and close back up, allowing you to open them once again. This is going to happen at the end of the second ring closing. Rare gold bins will also spawn, replacing some existing bins, and these will have better loot in them. At the same time as Ring 2 finishes closing, every match now will also have a mythic bin spawn, which does appear on the map for everyone to go and open. This is going to be a one-time thing, one bin on the map. It's going to create a lot of tense moments, but that mythic bin contains an Evo upgrade, gold weapons, care package weapons, and the mythic bin will be visible on the map, and it does take longer to open, adding a little bit to the element of trying to open that bin. You will need your squad to protect you if enemies are nearby. Nice added bonus to Apex Legends movement is that you will no longer have to worry about climbing or mantling on your teammates. You can all climb up that wall at the same time, and you're not going to push each other down, failing to climb up that wall. Consoles and beacons in Apex Legends have always been pretty massive for pro players in competitive Apex, but it doesn't quite matter as much in pubs, as us casuals often are not scanning the survey beacons or those ring consoles. In ranked, there is more viability, but for pubs, it doesn't matter too much. They're shifting the tactical power of survey beacons so more players can feel actually using those beacons and getting good benefits. Survey beacons spawn rate has been increased. There's going to be more beacons around the map. They're going to be faster to use, and they are going to now refresh scan enemies over a 15-second period. And because they're only lasting 15 seconds now and there are more of them, Evo gain is going to be nerfed down to 75 shields. The range of the survey beacons is also limited at 500 meters, focusing on a reveal of the more immediate surroundings rather than making some large map awareness of all the team's locations. Moving on, let's talk about what I'm looking forward to the most when it does come to Season 22's new content, and this is absolutely the new map, E-District. Straight up, before we go over everything, I could tell instantly that they had put a ton of time and a ton of effort into this new map, and it absolutely shows. This is the 6th map in Apex Legends. It's the culmination of 5 years of learning. There is a ton of verticality in this map and a huge variety of buildings. The theme of this map is a cyberpunk neon playground. They did balance the map appropriately because it does take place at night, but the lighting is honestly very good. There wasn't any areas where I found that I couldn't really find people. For the overall theme of the map, or at least the appearance and overall playability, the north side of the map contains more exotic locations like a resort, high-end apartment buildings, while the south side is more of that working class, the industrial type of society. Respawn stated that this map easily has the most playable space due to the multi-layer architecture and the overall size of the map. Honestly, I think this might be the largest map in the game, slightly edging out Stormpoint, but I'm not quite sure about that. It does feel huge though, and this is probably because there are so many buildings on this map. It truly feels like you are walking through a city and playing in a city when you are rotating on this map, and there's a ton of playable space, meaning that if you are in an endgame rank spot, you're not going to be stuck out in the open that much, and you are going to be able to actually play the game, which I think is awesome. If you look at the map, some of the buildings are a little bit more purple or pink, and this is because those buildings are not really accessible, or at least you can't get on top of them, whereas the more gray normal buildings are still accessible, or you can get on top of those buildings. E-District also introduces new gravity launchers. They're almost like mini gravity cannons that we did see on Stormpoint. They're quick ways to get you to the top of buildings and rooftops and to move around, but because there's so much playable space, I'm going to tell you right now, it's going to take a long time to master this map. There is an incredible amount of jump spots and ways to go about this map that are really just not typical to what you have experienced in the past in Apex Legends. There's honestly some spots that I found are pretty hard to climb up, which means movement is going to be key on this map. I could honestly talk about this map for hours and hours because there's going to be a ton of ways to go about this map, and I will have a full guide when the season does launch. But for now, let's talk about all the meta changes, because honestly, the Legend weapon changes are no joke. There is quite a bit this season. Let's start off with the classes that have been adjusted. Recon Legends get a nice little buff where they are getting threat detection, which means they are going to be able to highlight enemies in red when you are aiming down sights at them. It's about a 50 to 70 degree cone in front of that player. This is going to be nice to more readily be able to see players who are a little bit further away. Controller Legends as a whole get a 25 bonus shields when they are in the safe zone or they are inside the ring. Just straight up 25 shields. It's honestly a big deal. You got 75 shields off the drop if you are in the ring. At endgame, you'll have 150 shields instead of 125 if you do have red armor. Controllers also get to remotely pick up their barriers, their traps, or their walls. It still has to be undamaged, but you can pick up these traps and barriers and walls from any distance at any time. All you gotta do is look at it and pick them up. This is gonna be Watson fences, rampart walls, catalyst spikes, and caustic gas traps. I did not get to test it specifically, but apparently there's also an option to pick up everything when you are landing or redeploying via an evac or Valkyrie ultimate. When I did the play test in the play session, there was no patch notes provided to us, but I did a little digging and some firing range testing to figure out what legend changes are coming. Caustic traps, straight up at the base, they are going to be green now for friendly barrels, so you will be able to tell the difference between an enemy or a friendly caustic trap. This is a great quality of life update that we have been asking for a long time. Alter gets a slight upgrade change where she now gets a ring console option for the level 2 upgrade. Crypto gets some massive upgrade changes. Crypto now has a level 2 upgrade that lets him be invisible when you are using the drone, which is awesome, and he has a level 3 upgrade that will let you scan enemies if you are hitting them with the ultimate. Sierra also gets a nice little upgrade change where his level 3 upgrade now lets you take 2 tactical charges, but it does half the rate of the silence, so only 4 seconds instead of 8. I think this is pretty nice. You can throw out 2 tactical scans and scan an entire enemy team if they are a little bit split up. Vantage's ultimate sniper now does a little bit more damage. I noticed that I was doing 125 damage to a marked body shot, which is more than the previous 100 it used to do. And they did mention there was ballistic and lifeline changes, but I could not notice anything significant, so they must be pretty small. Moving on to the weapons, we have massive weapon changes and some new content that does revolve around weapons. And first off, we have Akimbo P20 and Mozambiques. We've been asking for this for a long time, but all you gotta do is just pick up 2 P20s or pick up 2 Mozambiques, and you can run around like a crazy person, dual wielding them and firing them both at the same time. The hipfire spread is tightened a little bit when you do have 2 of these guns and you are using them in Akimbo, and you can't just hold down the trigger to rapid fire it. You don't need to tap fire at both triggers or anything like that. There's a little bit of an ADS mechanic where you can zoom in a little bit when you have these, but all in all, it's not not too much zoom. They are definitely more for close quarters combat. For me, I felt like the Mozambique dual wield was a little bit better overall in terms of usability, but the total damage per mag that you can do with the P20s is pretty wild. And I would expect that if you have a lot of enemies very close to you, I think the P20s are going to be a little bit more reliable. Whereas if they are a little bit farther away, you are taking more one-on-ones or one-on-twos, I think the Mozambique would be the better choice. LMGs this season also get some love. LMGs get a hop up that allows them to have a front-facing shield, much like Gibraltar's gun shield. It's going to absorb up to 40 damage like that Gibby's arm shield. And if you are a Gibby and you do have this LMG with the hop up, Gibby's arm shield is going to get a little bit more health as well. LMGs in close quarters combat are going to be turning into a bullet hose. The longer you hold down the trigger, the tighter your hipfire aim does get. And if you're crouching, it's almost pinpoint accuracy. I cannot wait to see the Spitfire and the L-Star clips that are going to come out of this new LMG hip firing system. Shotguns in Apex Legends also get a nice little change. The Peacekeeper and the Mastiff are actually losing pellets, but the damage has been upped to keep them on par with what they are currently doing. Respawn stated by removing the amount of pellets in the shotgun shots, they're hoping this increases the consistency of your damage output, and the PK blast pattern no longer makes sense. It was that star previously, and it's now more of a V shape going upwards, which I think is pretty good. I found that the PK was very reliable in my play session. The Havoc had a massive hipfire nerf, and it's very noticeable. I still expect this gun to be insane at that like mid-range beamer, something like 15 to 50 meters, but when you are very close, say within the 5 to 10 meter range, the hipfire nerf is absolutely noticeable, and it's definitely not as good as it used to be. The Hemlock saw a pretty sizable nerf. Damage was nerfed from 20 to 19. There's also a slight increase in the time to fire between bursts, and the white and blue mag size was nerfed by 1 burst, so it's now 27 to 24 and 24 to 21 respectively. The Flatline assault rifle also saw some nerfs across all of its magazine sizes. Base is 19, gray is 23, blue is 27, and the purple mag flatline is now 29. Stacking your ammo also saw some changes. You now can store 72 rounds for light ammo, 20 for shotguns. Energy is now only 54, so a little bit less ammo per stack, and sniper and heavy is unchanged. The R301 finally sees another buff. The R301 base mag sizes have been increased all the way up to a level 3, 31 rounds per mag, which I felt like was actually pretty nice. And I don't know if they did any other stat change with the R301, but it did feel pretty good. So you will want to look at this, and you may want to try it when season 22 does come around. For care package weapons, the R99 has returned to the care package for the first time in about 3.5 years, and the EVA 8 is back on the ground. EVA 8 feels similar to what it was previously before it was in the care package, and the R99 feels pretty good, although it didn't feel overpowered in my eyes like a care package weapon really would. I'll have to get more time with it, but the recoil does feel slightly better than it previously was, although not great in my opinion. Before we get to map rotations, heirlooms, and more, let's quickly discuss ranked challenges and new modes, but drop a comment down below with what you think of the new map and the meta changes. Are the meta changes enough? Would you like to see a little bit more? Do you like the appearance of the new map? Personally, I love it, but I would love to know what you are thinking so far. Ranked systems in Apex Legends have had a slight tweak. Ranked BR, there's a slight adjustment of the RP received for placement. It's very minor. The changes are for those who place 15th or higher. Honestly, I think it's pretty negligible. You don't have to worry about it. It's been the hot topic for the past month, but the Battle Pass has been reverted. They did talk about this a little bit. We've already gone through this a ton. Just know that you can still get the Battle Pass for Apex coins. I'm kind of sick of talking about it. I'm not going to go into it anymore. You can unlock the first Battle Pass for free next season just by doing some challenges. And honestly, I almost did all the challenges in my play session, so they're not hard at all. If you already spend your Apex coins after the announcement, now you can get some Apex coins back and get all those future Battle Passes for more or less free again. So definitely take advantage of this. They did state there's more matchmaking tweaks that are coming. They didn't give a timeline, and they didn't really talk about it at all. They mentioned anti-cheat changes and improvements are coming. There's no real news here. Game stability, they said they're always working on it. They want you to be able to get into match and have the matches run smoothly. There's also a new mode called Bot Royale. This is a smaller, faster-paced version of the Battle Royale. All enemies are bots, and you can play with a bot teammate or real teammates if you want to. This is basically just a mode for new players to go practice gunplay, movement tech, and whatnot. For heirlooms, they didn't specifically state any heirlooms that are coming to the game, but there was a Bangalore green recolor heirloom that was in my playtest, so this is something that we can expect that is on the way. And they did mention that they are continuing to look at heirlooms for specific legends, because we have not gotten a new heirloom for a specific legend since Fuse's heirloom like 3 seasons or so ago, which is a shame, but they did state they are coming. They just couldn't give a timeline for that. A nice little change for the trackers in Apex Legends is that you can now select the art of any Legends tracker. If you want to use a crypto tracker on Pathfinder, Finder. You can do this now. There's a menu for it. It's super simple. It's very nice. You can use all the trackers now on any legend, which I think is cool. And the map rotation for Apex Legends Season 22 is going to be E-District, Stormpoint, and Broken Moon. Make sure you stay tuned as I have a ton more coverage with rankings and tier lists and tip videos as Season 22 does come out. Be sure to hit that like button if you enjoyed. Check out this video for more on Apex. And as always, happy gaming, legends.